I'm Meredith Noble, co-founder of the Global Grant Writing Collective. Today we're going to be talking about how you put together a decision-making framework. Did you know we make like 50,000 decisions in a day? It just creates an insane amount of fatigue for us. So if you feel like your days are absolute chaos and you're looking for a way to simplify that, my friend, you're going to want to have a decision-making question that you can apply to every decision you face for a year. Okay, so with that, let's hit it. Let's first articulate the problem that we're facing. So one of my favorite books that I can recommend to sort of dive into this is Cal Newport's book, Deep Work. We're actually reading it right now as a company, as like a little book club read, so that we can get out of feeling like that state of chaos where maybe you have to log in on a Sunday night to prep for Monday. And you know what all that means? That many people are working a second unpaid shift, because if you can't focus at work because there's so many distractions, that means you take your work home at night. That means that you're doing it over the weekends or in the morning, and that is ridiculous. Like, we should be able to go to work, execute our work, and be done with it so we can come home and live our lives. This leads to extreme burnout and frustration and exhaustion. I think all of you know what this look is. We're never disconnecting, and it's a very hardwired social pressure. Like, never before. Usually you would leave work, you left work, but now it comes with us. It's on our devices. It's everywhere. So this leads to this total sense of chaos. Do you have email notifications pinging? Do you have Slack or Microsoft Teams? Do you have meetings and phone call disruptions? Are you in an open floor layout, or do you actually have a door you can close, but is that door ever closed? And if it is, are people knocking on it anyway? When I ask people, as I've given a presentation similar to this content, I've asked people, okay, how many days of your week, your 5 work days, are chaos days? And people will say 5, 6, 7, like every day is chaos. And they're shocked when they hear me say, you know what, I have about 2 chaos days a month. Like, I haven't completely eradicated them. They happen from time to time, but seriously, to go from having them every single day of the week to 2 a month, I want that for you. Because we are in what I call a decision avalanche, where literally we're getting buried alive with the amount of unexpected decisions we have to make. Like, what am I gonna wear today? What am I gonna eat for breakfast? What am I gonna do after work? Or like whatever, you name it. Like, we have so many decisions, and it leaves us feeling really scattered. So one of the best things we can do to counteract this is have a process for filtering decisions. So what that is a single question that you can apply to the decision that needs to be made that makes an easy yes or no decision for you. So how do you come up with the single question that you're going to ask to filter your decisions? So first of all, you need clear on what it is you want from your life. So now we need to think about, how am I going to define a single question that I can apply to all sorts of different types of decisions? I recommend you start with thinking about, what is that number one most important thing you want in your life? Because we should be making decisions that move us towards our goals. So if it's to spend more time with my family, that's your goal. I want to spend more time with my family. Okay, then now I can apply a question to that. Does this decision allow me to spend more time with my family? Yes or no? It's a clear answer then. We don't have to hem and haw, right? So that's one way to think about it. You can also think about it as a feeling. Like, maybe if you're looking for not necessarily a goal or an accomplish, but you're like, I just want to feel more spaciousness. So does saying yes to this give us more spaciousness or not? There's a lot of different ways you can think about what's that one question that you want to ask. The one book I want to recommend you to consider, and I really don't love the book, The One Thing, right? The guy's pretty proud of himself, but there's some great principles in here. And one of the main takeaways is that the word priorities simply shouldn't exist. We can't have many most important things. At the end of the day, there can be one priority, and what is that priority going to be? So this can be a nice way to think about that. Plus, that's how we came up with the concept of doing 3 things in a day. And if you've done those 3 things and they were the right things, then you don't need to be doing anything more. So that's a separate concept. Just want to recommend penning through this book if you're really trying to think about what's that goal. So I'll give you a couple examples. The first time I applied this decision-making framework was back in 2008. I'd read a Forbes article that less than 2% of women-owned founders make more than $1 million a year in revenue. And I said, okay, that's gonna be my question. Does this decision move me towards building $1 million a year in revenue business? Now, at the time, that goal was insane, right? Like, my take-home pay was $24,000 that year, right? Like I was barely surviving, but I would filter my decisions because they come in every day and they either keep you where you're at or they allow you to break through to that next level. So that was my question for several years until we did finally hit $1 million in revenue. And then I came up with a new question. The new question I had last year was, after learning about attachment style theory, was, does this person and or situation make me feel secure? Because when we're secure, we can be our most authentic selves. And when we're our most authentic selves, like we're fully expressed, we feel relaxed, we just call in way better experiences than when we're feeling maybe avoidant or anxious or whatever. So that was my question, and it forced some pretty hard decisions. There were some friendships I needed to cut off. There were decisions I needed to make on how I spent my time that were pretty uncomfortable to make. But it came down to, does this allow me to be secure? Which was really important to me last year. The question that I'm using this year, and I'm sorry I don't have the book to show it to you, is by Bending Reality, Victoria's song. If you are around me at all, you're probably like, you are a broken record. We know you love this book. But what I loved about that is this concept of when we are in an expansive state where our shoulders come back and we feel like higher vibrations, things come with ease. And so much of how I have accomplished anything in my life has come from brute force and actually being contracted and having a lot of fear. And so by reading this book, I decided, okay, my question this year is going to be, does this make me feel expansive or contractive? And I check in on that regularly with myself to make decisions from everything from health, at work, my personal life, etc. So hopefully you're seeing that there's a lot of different ways you can come at asking this question. The big thing I want you to think about is just, what is your goal? What is that one thing that's most important to you? Spend some time journaling and thinking about it. Then write it into a question format. It needs to result in a yes or no decision. Like it needs to be like yes or no is the answer, because that's helping you make your decisions quickly. So a sample template would be, does this activity help me move towards my goal of fill in the blank? That would be one way you can think about it. Another one at work would be, does saying yes to this move us towards our goal of fill in the blank? That is a really simple framework that you can use. I've been using it for every year. I actually use that instead of a New Year's goal. I think about what's my question for the year, if it needs re-upped, and I come up with a new one, and it helps guide decision making. Heck, actually, one of the questions I had in the past was, I really wanted to race this 110-mile mountain bike race. It's called the Soggy Bottom, because you literally will have a soggy bottom after you've mountain biked for 100 miles, okay? My goal was, I wanted to win it, which guess what? It was kind of easy when only 5 women showed up, but I still trained so hard for that. And so every decision I was making for that whole year was, does this help me train and get ready for this big mountain bike race? And I had a great race as a result of it. Like, there's so many different ways you can come at this question, and I hope that gives you a little bit of food for thought on what you might do to help manage the decision avalanche in your life. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe button, add a comment. I'd love to know your thoughts. And I'd recommend for your next video, go watch what we talk about, like the MMM days. I'm not gonna reveal it yet. Just know that this is how you then take a lot of the chaos that you're often experiencing and organize your whole week differently. And there'll be no going back once you've learned about this principle. Okay, that's it. Talk to you later.